Bear down! The Cleveland Browns just sent shockwaves through the league by trading defensive end Myles Garrett to the Los Angeles Rams, and the frustration in Chicago is reaching a boiling point. Big shout out to our dedicated viewer Sarah from Chicago for always keeping the conversation going in our comments section. Fans are demanding to know why GM Ryan Poles didn't make a move for the best defensive player in football, but the reality behind the scenes is far more complicated. Is this a missed opportunity or a strategic necessity? Subscribe now so you don't miss our breakdown of this move. The massive trade involving Myles Garrett has left many questioning the current direction of the Chicago Bears roster. At the center of this debate is GM Ryan Poles, who is facing significant heat from a fan base eager for a high-impact edge rusher. While the Rams managed to pull off a blockbuster deal for one of the game's elite defenders, the Bears remained on the sidelines. To understand this, we have to look at the financial landscape of the organization. As of 2026, the Bears have only $11.2 million in available cap space, a number that stands in stark contrast to the financial flexibility required to absorb a contract like the one held by Myles Garrett. With guaranteed cash figures exceeding $30 million over the next 2 seasons, the math simply did not align for a team currently managing significant future extensions. Beyond the salary cap, there is the undeniable issue of trade assets. The Rams were able to package a substantial amount of talent, including a proven defensive cornerstone in Jared Verse, to satisfy the Browns. The Bears lacked a comparable defensive end to offer as compensation. Names like Dayo Odeyingbo or Austin Booker simply do not carry the same weight as a 2-time Pro Bowler like Verse. Furthermore, moving a core piece like Montez Sweat would have only created a new vacancy while attempting to solve another. It is vital to recognize that the Rams and the Bears are currently in completely different stages of their respective roster building processes. The Rams operate as a perennial power capable of aggressive draft pick heavy gambles, while the Bears are still building a foundation for sustainable, long-term competitiveness in an increasingly difficult division. The narrative that Ryan Poles is simply avoiding aggressive moves ignores the stark reality of the team's long-term financial health. The Bears are currently prioritizing the future of key players, specifically looking ahead to contract extensions for Darnell Wright and star quarterback Caleb Williams. These aren't just names. They represent the core of the team's future, and any massive, impulsive financial commitment to a single veteran would jeopardize the ability to lock in this talent. By 2027, the Rams will have nearly $94 million in cap space, giving them the 5th most flexibility in the league, whereas the Bears are projected to have just over $14 million. This difference in spacing explains why the Rams could pull off this transaction while the Bears had to remain disciplined. The organization is tasked with balancing the immediate need for a defensive spark with the necessity of keeping the roster young and sustainable. Taking a gamble on an aging veteran by trading away multiple early-round picks is exactly the type of move that could cripple the team's depth for years. When you consider the team also needs to address potential weaknesses at left tackle, cornerback, and defensive tackle, the argument for keeping those draft picks becomes quite clear. The front office is not just looking at the upcoming Sunday, they're managing a multi-year plan that requires patience. While the pressure to win is high, trading the entire future for one elite edge rusher has proven to be a dangerous strategy in the past. Remember the Khalil Mack era? That experience serves as a cautionary tale for any organization considering a massive win-now trade that leaves the rest of the roster thin and vulnerable to long-term decline. Why does this matter right now for the team? The answer lies in the immediate construction of the defensive line and the competitive landscape of the division. The pass rush has been a glaring weakness, and entering the season with the current rotation leaves the secondary exposed. This matters because the margin for error in the NFL is razor thin, and failing to pressure the quarterback makes it nearly impossible to consistently win games. For the Bears, the lack of an elite edge presence is not just a statistical concern, it is a hurdle that impacts every other level of the defense. If the line cannot get home, the defensive backs have to cover for longer, leading to breakdowns and big plays allowed. The current depth, while featuring potential, lacks the proven game-wrecking ability that Myles Garrett provides to a defense. This is why the frustration from the fan base is so intense. They see a clear hole that needs to be plugged. However, the organization is caught in the middle of a transition where they must improve the roster without sabotaging their own financial flexibility. This matters for the 2026 season specifically because it is a year where the team is expected to show tangible growth. Every game lost due to a lack of pressure is a missed opportunity to evaluate the team's potential. The defensive end rotation needs a body, but it cannot be a move that breaks the bank or forces the team to sacrifice its future stars. Balancing these competing pressures is the defining challenge for the front office right now. The roster is a work in progress, and the management must weigh the benefit of an immediate upgrade against the long-term cost of that decision in a league where salary cap management is a skill that separates contenders from the rest of the pack. The rumor mill has shifted its focus to a different defensive end, Josh Sweat. While the Myles Garrett trade is off the table, the possibility of acquiring Sweat from the Cardinals has captured the attention of many. Reports suggest the price could be as low as a third to a fifth-round pick, which is an entirely different conversation compared to the haul the Browns received for Garrett. This specific trade scenario is what the fans are currently fixated on, and for good reason. Sweat has been a consistent producer, averaging 9 sacks per year since 2021, and he has racked up over 130 pressures in that 5-year span. These are not just empty statistics. They reflect a player who can consistently get into the backfield and disrupt the rhythm of opposing offenses. If the Bears can bring him in for a price in that range, it would provide an immediate boost to the pass rush without requiring the team to mortgage its future. The urgency is amplified by reports that the Green Bay Packers are also interested in Sweat. Having him land in the division, especially if the Bears could have made a similar move, would be a major point of contention for supporters. However, fans must keep in mind that official sources, including Packers GM Brian Gutekunst, have stated there is nothing currently happening regarding a trade. It is essential to distinguish between substantiated reports and speculation. Regardless of whether a deal is imminent, the fact that the Bears are being linked to a player with Sweat's credentials indicates that the front office is actively exploring ways to bolster the defensive line. The goal remains to find a solution that fits the team's current financial reality while addressing the clear need for a stronger, more disruptive presence on the edge. The situation surrounding Josh Sweat and the potential for a trade within the division continues to be a major talking point. If the rumors are true and the Packers do make a move, the spotlight will turn directly back to Ryan Poles and his approach to roster management. It is important to remember that the team is still in a building phase, and while the pressure to act is mounting, the front office must stick to its plan. The Bears have several unmet needs beyond just the edge rusher position, and ignoring those for a quick fix could lead to larger problems later in the season. The organization has had to clean up past issues, including previous bad contracts and wasted draft capital, which limits their room to maneuver. As we look at the remainder of the offseason, the focus will be on whether the team can find a way to add depth without sacrificing their long-term viability. The fans are right to expect improvement, but the path to that improvement is rarely as simple as making one big trade. The front office will have to prove that they can navigate these choppy waters while keeping the team moving in the right direction. It is a balancing act that requires both aggressiveness and discipline. As we wait for further updates, the question remains whether the team will pull the trigger on a move or stick with the roster as it is currently constructed. What do you think the Bears should do to fix the pass rush? Should they push for a trade like the Josh Sweat rumors? Or should they stay patient and prioritize their draft picks for the long term? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.